Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining today our online masterclass. It's a pleasure to have you with us for this important session titled From Strategy to Action, Embedding Responsible Gaming Through Executive Engagement. Today we will explore how organization can move beyond strategic intentions and truly and responsible gaming in everyday practice. Starting with leadership, executive engagement is one of the most powerful drivers of sustainable, meaningful energy culture. And this session will focus on actionable ways to make that happen. I'm preciously pleased to introduce our speaker today, Sherin Fernando, Associate Director of Advisory Services at the Responsible Gaming Council in Canada. Sherin leads RGC's advisory services team and brings over 14 years of specialist expertise in responsible gaming. Her work spans strategy and policy development, comprehensive program reviews, and the design and the evaluation of training programs. She has contributed to major problem gaming prevention companies, multiple RGC research projects, and has supported operators worldwide in the strengthening staff engagement in formed players, decision making, and product optimization, RG culture. Sherry has continued evaluation of RGA programs across a wide range of sectors, so from casino gaming and lotteries to sports betting, horse racing, bingo, both land-based and online. Sherry holds on honoris behaviors degree in psychology and psychology a master degree in behavior and cognitive neuroscience from University of Western Ontario. With her deep expertise and commitment to advising responsible gaming, she stands as a leading voice in shaping a safer and more responsible gaming environment globally. Sherin, it's my pleasure to have you with us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Petya. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. As Petya mentioned, I'm Sherin Fernando, Associate Director of Advisory Services at the Responsible Gambling Council. Today, we'll look at how executive leadership can drive RG from strategic imperative to everyday action. Right. So Petya already gave me quite the warm introduction, so I'll just skip through here. But I'd like to share a little bit about the Responsible Gambling Council and our role in the industry. So the RGC is an independent nonprofit organization dedicated to gambling harm prevention based in Ontario, Canada, with over 40 years of leadership in this space in Canada and globally. Our organization has been delivering prevention, education, research, and support, and we are committed to bringing together all stakeholders to inform all that we do. So here's an overview of some of the programming that RGC does. So we do both B2B and B2C. So on the industry side, we support through our advisory services, which is the area that I lead, and our RG Check accreditation program. We also host an annual conference called Discovery that brings together global stakeholders to learn from one another and to continue to move RG forward. For the public, we develop and deliver a number of prevention and education programs. Some are targeted specifically to youth or young adults, and we also have a number of community-based initiatives throughout Ontario. We also collaborate with the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation on the PlaySmart Centers. And so these are RG centers that are at all land-based venues across the province of Ontario, and players can access resources and tools and support from the tools there and from the staff. So RGC's reach is truly global, as Petra mentioned, mainly through our advisory services and our RG accreditation program. So we work in Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, and many other jurisdictions. And this global perspective really helps us share best practices, but also learn from diverse markets. I'd love to hear where you folks are from. So if you'd like, you can drop it into the chat so we can get a sense of who's in the room. Just give a quick minute for that if anybody would like to share in the chat. Okay, I don't see anything, so I'll just carry on. That's okay. All right. All right, so through our advisory services, we help organizations develop and implement player safeguards, focusing on policy, strategy, education, training, and program evaluation. And one of our flagship offerings, as I mentioned, is RG Check. RG Check is a global leader in RG accreditation. So with over 250 accreditations in over 13 jurisdictions, it supports compliance, accountability, transparency, and culture building. The program was launched in 2010 and uses a comprehensive set of industry relevant and evidence-based standards. And so this framework covers 8 areas for land-based accreditations and 9 areas for online. And it really involves a rigorous assessment process, providing operators with an overview of their strengths and areas of improvement of their RG programs. So through RG Check, organizations are able to demonstrate accountability and transparency, measure impact with a site level focus on player experience and culture building, which we'll talk about further. And another key benefit of this program is the independence of the assessment, with the goal of providing tangible actions to build an employee culture that focuses on player health, harm reduction, and continuous improvement. All right, so let's begin with a level set on what we mean by responsible gambling. Often folks may equate RG with PG, but of course, as you are likely familiar with, RG is much more than just problem gambling. It considers all types of players and encompasses prevention and education and fostering positive play, in addition to ensuring support and resources are available for those experiencing gambling-related harm. So what does this look like? First and foremost, a strong policy framework that clearly articulates your commitment to player safety. This foundational policy guides everything, training, self-exclusion programs, marketing and communication, access to funds, and venue design. Having clear policies sets expectations and standards for everyone involved, ensuring consistency and accountability across the organization. Next, we need to operationalize RG. So while policies set the foundation, how do we make these policies come to life? This happens by making these policies in everyday practice. So some examples include having a strong self-exclusion program, supporting informed decision-making through brochures, signs, ads throughout the gaming environments, designing environments that support safe play, and ensuring staff are trained and empowered to support RG principles. And once we've taken actionable steps to operationalize RG, how do we ensure the policies and programming are appropriately adopted, promoted, and supported? This is where RG culture comes in. This is when RG is woven into those everyday actions and decisions and is embedded throughout the organization. When the leadership visibly commits to RG, it becomes a core part of company values, and there are accountability measures for upholding RG standards. When RG is truly part of the culture, everyone, leaders and staff alike, really live and breathe responsible gambling. So the key here is that RG isn't just a checkbox. It's really a strategic lever for growth and resilience. If it's just driven by regulatory obligation, it becomes a really disjointed effort and results in a lack of buy-in and commitment from staff. However, with commitment from executive management, real visible commitment, such as having RG embedded into the organization's vision, the strategy, KPIs, RG becomes part of the organizational DNA. It signals seriousness to regulators, investors, and customers, And in this way, RG supports long-term profitability and brand resilience. All right, so let's dig a little bit deeper into the value proposition of RG. So, RG really takes a proactive approach to harm minimization and prioritizes player safety. So, a robust RG program means we're not just reacting to customers who are already experiencing harm, we're actively working to prevent harm before it occurs. By prioritizing player safety, we create an environment where guests can enjoy gaming responsibly, knowing safeguards are in place to protect their well-being. RG demonstrates leadership in corporate social responsibility and ESG. And as we know, these are areas of increasing focus globally, both from an investor and customer perspective. By developing an RG program that's aligned with global best practice standards, it elevates the organization's position amongst industry leaders, setting a benchmark for ethical practices and responsible operations in gaming. Next, buy-in from internal and external stakeholders. So alignment with best practice, industry best practice, supports buy-in from all stakeholders, so staff, players, the community, and broader global partners. However, it's important to ensure that we're able to walk the talk. So that following through on policy, embedding RG across programming, having sufficient supports for staff and players, and a commitment to continuous learning and improvement. All of these things become evident when RG is done right. And they also, all these factors also really need to be driven by the organization's leadership. Increase in employee satisfaction. So employees benefit from clear policies, training, and a supportive culture, which boosts staff morale and job satisfaction. And the truth is that witnessing signs of harms is not really something new for staff, but with the appropriate policies and training, staff feel empowered and confident in addressing the signs in an appropriate way, both understanding what their role is and what it entails, but also what it's not and what it doesn't entail. Having the tools, resources, and supports in place to support their customers helps staff to feel good about their job and for working for an organization as well that cares about its customers and the impact it's having on the community. And this just creates a positive workplace atmosphere. And last but not least, elevates customer experience by fostering a safe, transparent, and enjoyable environment, but also recognizing that culture shift really does take time. But it really starts with the demonstration from the leadership in terms of policies, well-trained staff, and key information and resources made available to players. This demonstrates to players in the community that the organization is really committed to minimizing gambling-related harms. And of course, players feel valued and respected, which leads to greater satisfaction and loyalty. So this here is just a quote from a senior staff person who leads RG for a North American operator. The gaming industry has a negative perception about only caring about the bottom line. What the industry doesn't realize is that the more that we don't focus on ESG, the more that it perpetuates that negative perception. So this just emphasizes the importance of not only doing what's in the best interest of the players and staff, but focusing on RG and ESG more broadly is also just in the best interest of the organization itself. And really, the bottom line here is that customer care is key. So by prioritizing customer well-being, it's a win-win-win. Good for players, staff morale, and the bottom line. Research shows that sincere RG programs drive higher customer satisfaction and brand trust. It's good for company morale as staff are proud to work for and are more confident in an organization that cares. And it's good for the bottom line because satisfied customers are loyal and engaged, and a customer playing within their means supports long-term sustainability. So a 2018 study found that customers who perceived RG programs as adequate and sincere reported higher customer satisfaction with the organization. And the study also found that corporate social responsibility, especially RG, were strongly linked to positive brand perception and trust. Uh, so bottom line, RG is not just good for players, it's good for the business. It's a win-win, great for operators, promotes sustainability, supports staff, demonstrates commitment, promotes the adoption of a safety net for players, and just makes the experience better for everyone. So, how do we make what is put into policy actually work in practice? By creating a culture of RG. So this really starts with visible leadership and sets the foundation. When leadership prioritizes RG, it sets a tone for trust and stability. Staff feel empowered to act. RG becomes ingrained in the day-to-day. It's not just a compliance checkbox. And confidence grows across teams, enabling consistent values-driven decision making. So, on a broad scale, leadership-driven RG builds public trust, strengthens relationships with regulators and communities. It demonstrates commitment beyond just compliance and positions the operator as an industry leader. It also supports the early identification and mitigation of RG risks. It reduces the likelihood of regulatory penalties as well as negative impacts on reputation. So to do this, executives must articulate RG as a strategic priority, allocate sufficient resources for training, tools, and information, as well as continuous improvement. So what this looks like is ongoing training for staff, feedback, regular monitoring, embedding RG in staff performance reviews as a way to embed RG culture, development and deployment of RG tools and information for both players and also staff, and continuous improvement. So this is exploring collaborations and research opportunities, learning and information sharing with others in the space. Executives must also lead by example, so model prioritizing RG in decision making and communications. Hearing from the leadership directly on the value and importance of RG within the organization helps to ensure staff are clear that RG really is a priority. And then communicate the commitment both internally and externally and walk the talk. So sharing how and why RG is a priority and then that follow through. All right, so embedding RG requires integration across all functions. This is how we can show that we're walking the talk. RG should not be siloed. It must permeate all operations across the business. So broadly speaking, RG should be integrated into policies that span the breadth of operations through marketing communication policies, player information, and customer service training. Executives should develop tiered training, so ensuring everyone has both the appropriate foundational knowledge as well as job-specific tools and skills, and seek opportunities for monitoring, assessment, and continuous improvement. So, to support alignment with industry best practice standards, here we have the key areas that we use in the RG Check accreditation program for land-based gaming. So this demonstrates the breadth of RG across operations. Um, um, so in addition to the strong policy framework, which we talked about a little bit already, um, this includes a robust suite of training, which we also mentioned as well. This includes examining how to share prevention and education information with players to make informed choices, having appropriate policies, systems, and sufficient training in place to address indicators of gambling harm, assessing features of the venue itself. For example, ensuring players have an ability to keep track of time via clocks or windows, encouraging breaks in play, not reinforcing myths, examining the service of alcohol if it's land-based, um, access to money. So are there structures in place to minimize financial harms? Access to credit, availability of bank machines on the gaming floor, for example. Self-exclusion, of course. So is there a robust player-centric program in place? Are staff appropriately trained on it? Is the program well communicated? Are there appropriate procedures in place to address breaches and reinstatement? So all of these things are imperative to ensure that we have a robust SE program in place. And marketing and communications, as we mentioned, is there a sufficient policy in place to ensure that advertising doesn't mislead or encourage excessive play? Is it designed to be enticing to minors? Is there a systematic screening process in place to address RG concerns? So these are as I mentioned, the 8 standards that we use in RG Check. These are evidence-based and set the framework for those assessments and really demonstrate how RG can and should be spanning the breadth of operations. So let's talk about some leadership actions that can drive success. Setting clear expectations and measurable goals. Providing resources and training to empower staff. So this includes encouraging conversation as well as feedback on RG practices. And leading by example. So senior leaders need to model RG behaviors and celebrate success. And the last bullet here, the stakeholder engagement piece delivers insights that enhance relevance and effectiveness while building trust and transparency. So engaging with external specialists, practitioners, and community agencies, leveraging external expertise and research, including data sharing, and seek player insights and feedback to deepen understanding of behaviors, awareness, knowledge, and preferences related to RG resources and tools. And of course, seeking staff feedback and input as well. All right, so the call to action. Commit to leadership-driven RG. Review and update your corporate vision. Embed RG principles organization-wide. Invest in training and monitoring. Measure and report progress both internally and externally. With internally being staff feedback, customer feedback, etc. And you can validate externally with programs similar to RG Check. I'd love to hear from the group. What's one action you'll take after today's session to strengthen RG in the organization? If anybody feels comfortable dropping it into the chat. Any thoughts? Got a quiet bunch today. Okay, no problem. All right. And then just to conclude with some final thoughts. So top-down RG engagement is essential for sustainable growth, regulatory compliance, and industry leadership. And leadership's commitment really transforms RG from a checkbox to a core value. And that is really integral to building that RG culture, which helps to embed RG in day-to-day operations. And of course, this is an opportunity to meet global best practice standard and demonstrate industry leadership. All right, that's all. Thank you for your attention and engagement. Happy to take any questions. All right, I guess not. Well, if you have any questions after, feel free to reach out. As I mentioned, I'm from the Responsible Gambling Council, happy to answer any questions. My email here is on the last slide, just shireenf@rgco.org. Yeah, happy to chat afterwards with anybody if you'd like. Back to you, Petya.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Shireen. Thank you for joining today with us. And if there is something, our emails are open to share some comments or to ask some questions after we finish it. The video of this webinar you can see after the session, maybe to next week in our YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.